You should see this desk. It's insane. Just, I don't know why I don't clean things before I start filming. I don't know why I do this to myself. So, hi. I haven't filmed in a really long time and this feels just kind of strange. And honestly, these lights are blinding me. So today I wanted to try ostensibly a full face of new products because I have a bunch of them and I just kind of figured we would do that because like it's fun. So I am going to be trying I was really hesitant on this just because of the concealer situation, but this is the Jaclyn Cosmetics Skin Perfecting Blurring Tint. I picked up 2 colors. I got light and fair light because you just never know. And I did some swatching and I think light is a little too dark, so I think I'm gonna try fair light. As far as the colors go, for my olive people out there, they pull pretty neutral, in my opinion. The colors aren't like horrible, but they're definitely not olive. Like if you're fair to light olive, they pull pretty neutral. So just keep that in mind. Also, just wanted to start this off by saying my face is primed with what I always do. I applied moisturizer, my Oven moisturizer, and then I applied my sunscreens. Now I mix Oven and Elta MD UV Clear. That's what I've been doing recently for my sunscreen. So I applied that like, oh, what time is it? I don't even know what time it is. Probably 2 hours ago now at this point. So it's been sitting for a while. So I'm gonna color correct real quick. I watched Bo Burnham's Inside again. I've watched it like 4 times. I can't get the Turning 30 song stuck out of my head. What? I have it stuck in my head. I can't get it out of my head. It's so fucking good. So I'm just kind of assuming that this is going to be very different than the concealer. So this is a skin tint, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't contain any SPF or anything like that. I'm gonna apply it. Fuck, how should I apply it? Because everybody always criticizes the way I apply things. I never use, okay, for comparison, I typically use the Tarte Amazonian Clay BB Tinted Moisturizer, which does contain SPF, and that's basically like a skin tint. Fuck it, let's use like a brush or something so people can't get all pissy. I need a brush. I need a brush. So I've got the Fenty Beauty Face Brush, number 125 face brush. That's what we're gonna use today. I don't know, I'm just gonna pop a little bit on my forehead. I don't know if that was a pump. Let's just start there. And I'm gonna start working this in to my forehead. My first worry, I guess, was just that potentially it would mix with my, because it's a pretty hydrating formula, I'm assuming, since it's a skin tint, that it would mix with my sunscreen and it wouldn't go on well. Which is also the reason that I'm always hesitant to use a brush, because this kind of motion, I feel like always creates pilling, whereas using my sponge, it just doesn't. Is that this? I can't tell if it's, I think it has a scent, but I can't really tell. So it seems pretty dewy and hydrating so far. Why are you sniffing so hard? She's so weird. So that doesn't seem too bad. The color seems nice. It's a little, because it's a skin tint, it's just like a little bit, boo, why do you do this every time I film? It's a little bit difficult to see like how much coverage it provides. Obviously it's a skin tint, so it's not exactly supposed to, oh, it does have a scent. It kind of smells like paint. You know how, MAC, that concealer, Pro Longwear, is that what it was? The one I couldn't remember the name of? Kind of has that kind of scent. So this actually seems kind of nice. It has a nice like cooling, hydrating feeling when you put it down. I'm not super wild about the scent, but I prefer my complexion products not to have any scents. Well, that seems nice. It's very hydrating. It seems like it would be really good for dry skin. It applies pretty well with a brush. I feel like I get, like, obviously it's a tint, so it's not supposed to be full coverage, obviously. It might be a little bit too hydrating for me. I don't know, you guys will have to let me know. Like when I'm looking, this is definitely like the most dewy complexion product that I've used, or that I've used. There's definitely some breakage happening as far as my sunscreen goes, you know? Yeah, it almost looks like there's a pearl in it because it's making this area of my face look very, very dewy. The color's actually not bad. Like once I put it down, like I can kind of see it's probably difficult for you to see on camera, but when I'm comparing my chest to my face, it makes me look ever so slightly more neutrally. But overall, like I feel like it blends pretty well. That would be my only concern, is that it might be a little too oily. But that seems nice. I mean, compared to my experience with the concealer, it seems to work fairly well, you know, as a skin tint. It seems like it's definitely meant more for people who want minimal makeup, who have very dry skin though. Because as most of you might know, unless you're new to my channel, since I started using skincare actives like my tretinoin, benzoyl peroxide, clindamycin, my skin has become much more dry. And this is the first thing that I've used that has made me look very, like, kind of oily, to be completely honest. Like, I think the dew on the outer perimeter of my face and like my forehead is nice, but in here, it's just a little, it's a little too much for me personally. You'll have to let me know what you think. All right, I'm gonna continue, but I'm going to use, this was something that I compared in one of my last like concealer comparison videos. This is the Rose Ink Concealer. Rose Ink. This is LX010, and I just haven't had a chance to like use it as a full-on concealer yet. So I'm gonna use this. What are you doing, boo? You coming here to make trouble? I rewatched that video and I actually really enjoyed this shade, the way that it looked on my skin tone. The only thing is when you open this bottle, it does that thing that Tarte Shape Tape does, where you open it and like a lot of concealer comes out and then you close it and it gets like all over the place. Shape Tape always does that to me and it's very annoying, and this does like basically the same thing. I've been thinking about doing a makeup tutorial where I don't wear any foundation or concealer. Thoughts? Always. I think I like this concealer a lot, actually. I think I need to use it a little bit more to really solidify my opinion, but it has a really nice amount of coverage, and the shade is just like very beautiful for my skin. So I think I like it. I think I really like it a lot. I feel like when I did that concealer comparison video, the Rose Ink Concealer was a little bit more matte, like on the matte side, but it doesn't appear to be right now. I don't know, I'm still deciding, but I am impressed by the coverage, you know? The only thing that's annoying is that the product comes out so much. All right, I don't have a new contour, so I'm gonna do that real quick and I'll be back. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. I didn't hit record and I was just talking to myself for so long. So what I did, I contoured. Now I wanted to use the Sephora Bright Future Concealer in the shade Bavarian Cream, which you may have seen in that concealer comparison video. And it's way too light for me. I have been trying to pick up like a color that actually like matches or would work for just like regular concealing, but it's been out of stock. So what I'm doing now is a technique that I did. I was in Florida visiting my family, and I did this when I was there, and it was like just so nice. It was just like this beautiful highlighting. Because I'm assuming that you guys have seen those videos of people doing this like highlighting with like a white concealer. Anyway, I asked when I wasn't actually recording if you wanted to see a video on that from me, but anyway, so I just placed it in these specific areas to really highlight. So I'm obviously doing this on top of my Rose Ink Concealer. So just focusing it in the hollow and then really taking it up onto the cheekbone. And I just absolutely love this formula so much. Like I just want to use it as like my regular concealer. I really need to get a color that just like matches perfectly, because it's just like so hydrating. It just melts into your skin. It's like, where are those dark circles? Does she even have them anymore? Okay, so now that I've done that, dude, I really do like that. Like that super highlighting. I kind of do want to like pick up a white concealer. All right, I'm super excited about this. Okay. Oh shit, I don't think I have a brush for this. So, Milk Makeup came out with a bunch of these like little, first of all, I love, like, is it so dry here? a bunch of these little like things, little mixing guys. So they came out with these bronzers, okay? 3 shades of bronzer, little blush guys. And these are 2, I think, illuminators. Yeah, little illuminator situations. I literally opened up the box today. So, and then it came with, God, I've been saying a lot. My brain is so broken. It came with a little mixing guy. Everything's a guy. Little mixing chick. So I'm just interested in these. So I want to try the bronzer. What I think is really cool about these is that you can put them out on, oh wait, I have to mix it up. I think it was a little bit liquidy. This is the, let me tell you what color I'm using. Time Traveler. No, Time Travel. What I think is cool about this is you can use just the product the way it is, or you can mix a little bit in with your foundation. You know what I mean? To like kind of create like more of a custom color or a slightly different formula. Super interesting. But I just kind of want to use it on its own. So I'm going to use my little Rougher 18 brush. I'm going to dip it in here. I'm going to kind of like throw it over here. So I'm getting a nice even coating. Color seems nice as well. So it appears to be kind of like a gel formula, which is interesting. But it's also like got a decent amount of pigment in it. So I'm going to focus it up here. And then I'm going to slowly kind of like drag it down just to blend. I'm not trying to minimize my forehead, but just to blend. It's actually definitely more pigmented than I was expecting. Like it's a little bit more concentrated, you know? I like that. I'm going to use my brush to kind of just like blend around those edges. I'm definitely becoming more and more of a fan of these like tints, serums, all that kind of stuff. I'm really loving it. I hope it maintains. It like melted into my skin. I like that a lot. So I'm basically just like tapping it into the product and then rubbing it around on the on this thing so that I get like a nice even layer. Just gonna pat. So I like to bring it up onto the cheek a little bit, create a little more warmth. I'm going to blend it around my jawline a little bit, create a little bit more dimension, and then I'm going to take it down the side of my neck. That is very nice. I love this. It's been a really long time since I've used Milk products. And I think I used the like stick bronzer. It used to smell so bad though. I really didn't like it. It smelled like Play-Doh. This makes me feel like an artist and it's really just doing things for me right now. Oh, I will say that the Jaclyn Skin Tint, the scent is really lingering and I'm not so much a fan of that. That seems really nice. I like it a lot. It's very much a tint for sure. It's hydrating. It's like kind of a gel formula. I'm into that a lot. They did also launch blushes, which I really want to try, but I have another blush that I'm going to try. But they have a bunch of different colors. And just quickly, because I have them and I'm holding them, I think it's very cool because you can use them just the way they are as like the same sort of like jelly formula, or you can mix it once again with your foundation to kind of like tone it down a little bit, or just like bring it a little bit closer to your skin tone, you know? So I just think that these are like really cool products. I am going to use the little illuminators, but I'm going to come back to those. Fuck it, let's do it now. All right, so we have 2 illuminators, one that's like more golden and one that is a little bit more neutrally, I believe. So they're called Bionic Glow. So we have a bronzy color and then we have like a nudie kind of like neutrally color. It's maybe a little bit more pink. So the pinky one is called Virtual and then the bronzy one is called Reality. So I'm going to use obviously that one because I can't really use that as a highlighter. But I could mix it in with my bronzer, which is kind of cool, or my foundation. So many possibilities. And I'm going to use a sponge. So I'm going to grab my beauty blender. Once again, I'm kind of like picking up the product and then patting it on the little mixer so that I have a nice even layer. And I'm going to pat that on the top of my cheekbone. Oh, there's a hair. I'll be honest, my skin is so dewy from that skin tint that I'm like having a hard time seeing it. Maybe I should do this after my blush and powders and things. I don't know. Let's actually come back to that then. All right, I just set underneath my eyes. My around my eyes is a little bit dry because I did that thing where I used a little bit too much Treadnow and never learning lessons. Anyway, so now what I wanted to do, well, interesting. So I basically only used powder here and like around my nose because this area was a little bit like oily from the skin tint. So I'm gonna be very interested to see if we have oil breaking through here. I feel like, I literally just set that area. I feel like I can already see it breaking up around my nose. So the next product that I wanna use, oh wait, actually, let's use the blush. So Colourpop launched these really, really cute blushes, pressed powder blushes. I think it's part of their like Valentine's Day collection, and they're just like so fucking cute. Like, I'll be honest with you, Colourpop's packaging, I don't usually like it. Like their boxes and stuff are always really cute, like but their components are always just like kind of the same, always. But these little blushes, I'm obsessed. They're really adorable. So I'm gonna use Kiss and Tell, this one, just cause like it matches my whole vibe right now. And I'm using my Rephr 04 brush. I haven't used a powder blush in such a long time. That's really fucking pretty. It's not too pigmented. It seems like it's going to be, but it's actually a very nice light formula that kind of just like blends into the skin. Like you can load up your brush and tap it off and just start kind of like building it up. And it's not putting down way too much product, you know what I mean? It's a very, very pretty. Oh, I really like it a lot. I was feeling like I needed a powder blush because I haven't used one in such a long time. And I'm really loving that color. It's so pretty. There's also something about that's like really satisfying about a blush that isn't too pigmented because you get to apply it for longer. Is that weird? Is that just me? I like this motion. I like putting it down and really like building it up. I just like love this. And when it's too pigmented, you just can't get away with doing that. All right, next up, brows. So this is the Brow Lift by e.l.f. So similar to the Anastasia one. Now, I personally didn't love the Anastasia one. I felt like I had to use so much, and no matter what, I still feel like my brows started to like fall after a little while. So I'll be interested to see how this one holds up. It came with a little spoolie. I already like kind of messed around with it a little while ago. I bent this thing so that it would be easier for me to do this because when it's flat, it's kind of hard to get in there, you know? And then it also has like a flat end so that you can kind of like push them down. So we're gonna do that today. All right, so I'm gonna work this in because the girl who does my hair, Sarah, loves the Anastasia Brow Freeze, but she says she has to use so much of it and she just like goes through it like crazy. So be interested to see how this compares. One of the reasons that I want to love these like gels or whatever is because my Dr. Bronner soap, sometimes if I go a little bit outside my brows, it's like very obvious. It creates this kind of like matte line around my hairs. This does feel very sticky. It's definitely like a glue. All right, let's try this thing. If this stays, I'm gonna be really fucking happy. It's so crazy the difference that eyebrows make, dude. All right, let's see how that goes. Looks like it's mattifying a little bit around the edges. Can you see that? Because that's something that I'm trying to avoid. I'm not loving the shape I created. But let's just let that dry and see what happens, I guess. All right, while I wait for that to dry, I want to try, I think this is my actually, let's reapply the Illuminator. So I'm going to go back in with Virtual. It's kind of nice. It creates like a pretty glow, but I think it's a little dark for my skin tone, to be honest. I don't know if this is supposed to be, okay, hold on. Because I'm really good at doing things without actually reading. But I just feel like if I mix this in with my foundation to create like a little bit more of a glow, because it's a very neutrally sort of almost pink shade, it's going to make my foundation look more neutrally. Now I'm looking at my face right now and I feel like I can see the tint of it. It's sort of like intensifying my blush a little bit, like up by my cheekbones where I applied it. It's just like putting a little bit too much pigment there, in my humble opinion. But it looks kind of pretty. Like it's not terrible, you know? It might actually look very pretty if I mixed it in with one of the blushes. And it layers on top of the Colourpop powder blush nicely. I don't see any like separation or anything. All right, well, my brows are dry. So I don't know how well you guys can see, but it definitely does like dry more matte. And I can see a little bit of that matte like finish around the edge of my eyebrow, which I get with my soap. So, but the thing is with my soap, I don't like have to flatten my brow hairs for them to stay. I just like brush them and I don't necessarily have to take it like out further than my actual brow hairs. So that's the only downside I find to these like the Anastasia and the e.l.f. brow freeze things. But let's see how my brow pen goes over it. Seems to draw over the product pretty nicely. I'm always just nervous about using my pens because it's obviously a liquid. So I always just kind of feel like going in with a liquid over one of these like brow things is gonna kind of like break it down. Okay, seems nice. Dude, these brow pens are so fine. It literally tickles. Here's my thing about the brow thing. This one seems to work better. Although, you know, I haven't worn it all day, but so far it seems to work better than the Anastasia one. However, my criticism of these is that they only seem to keep your brow hairs in place if you really flatten them against your skin. And I don't necessarily want to have to flatten it against my skin completely because I need a little bit more movement. I need a little bit more wiggle room with how my brow hairs actually lay for it to create a shape that I want and like. Because this makes me look a little bit too surprised and insecure, in my opinion. Like my face looks too surprised and insecure, you know? But you just don't have as much control over the brow hairs and where they're laying when you're like having to flatten them to your skin. You know what I mean? But if you're looking for like an alternative to the Anastasia one, that's like way more affordable, this one actually seems to be much better. Because I remember I loaded up with the Anastasia one and I could not get my brow hairs to lay. So, I don't know, it's interesting, something to think about. So this is actually the last thing that I have, new product to try. So this is the Colourpop Fresh Kiss Lip Cream, and this is in the shade Smoochin', which I just kind of thought was nice. And lip creams are always like hit or miss because maybe it's a little bit more matte, maybe it's a little bit more like hydrating. You just never know. I personally prefer it to be a little bit more matte. Okay, no scent. I mean, it has kind of a weird scent, but I don't think it's intentional. Little doe foot. I'm gonna apply it first and just kind of like see. Dude, I'll be honest with you, my skin looks nice. Okay. Oh, it's very moussey. I like it so far. Very creamy. Ooh, this would make like a really nice blush. It applies very evenly. It's like a creamy matte, so it has like a little bit more of like a, I guess maybe a satin finish. I'm gonna throw down some lip liner so we can finish the shit off. So, those were all of the new products that I wanted to try. Let's kind of go back. So I actually can see a tiny bit of glow coming through in the areas where I powdered on top of the Jaclyn Skin Tint, but I don't mind it. It doesn't look like oily to me. It just kind of looks like dewy, you know? So I actually kind of feel like it looks pretty. As far as like breakage goes with this product, I can see a bit. I don't know how well you guys can see because it looks a little overblown to me. But I have breakage happening here. I have breakage happening down here, here. It just looks like there's like quite a bit of like oil breaking through. Like it might be just a little bit too oily for my skin. And it's just not really mixing well with the powder. and potentially my sunscreen underneath. That said, I didn't experience any pilling with my sunscreen, which is nice. Yeah, actually, now that I'm looking at my forehead, it does look like quite oily. So I just kind of see, I kind of can't see this like wearing well on me throughout the day, especially not in the summertime. Like maybe I could get away with this a little bit more in the winter, but I think I would just have to stick with my Amazonian clay tinted BB moisturizer because that gives me a little bit more, it gives me hydration, but it gives me a little bit more of a satiny kind of natural finish. And it creates a glow on my skin. And it has SPF, you know? So as far, like comparing it to the concealer, obviously this performed like pretty well. And if you're someone who is very, very, very dry and you're looking for something that isn't going to be heavy, like you just want a tint, you want like a little bit of a glow, then it seems like a nice product, you know? The brow, I feel like I went through that pretty well. Seems pretty good. It also doesn't like, I mean, it like sets, but it doesn't dry down to like something crusty, which like technically I feel like my Dr. Bronner soap kind of can. It like really solidifies, but that's also what helps keep my brow hairs like perfectly in place, you know? The, whatever this fucking thing was called, Bionic Glow, I actually think it's really pretty. I think it's nice. I think I'm gonna try to wear it with the Milk blushes as well, just to add like a more of a glow, because it seems to add like quite a bit of color to my skin. The bronzer is really nice. I like the color a lot. The Milk bronzer, it's like very pretty, and I'm actually interested in using the Bionic Glow in Reality as a bronzer at some point, just because the color seems like kind of close to my NARS San Juan. The lip cream, nice. I like it a lot. I kind of feel like for some reason these moussey lip products on me go on kind of patchy, but this is very even and hydrating, and it creates like a kind of more of like a satiny kind of finish. I really like it, especially this color. What is this color? Smoochin'? Very nice. I enjoy that thoroughly. Like the color in particular is really speaking to me right now, and it just worked so beautifully with the Colourpop blush that I wore, Kiss and Tell, which I really like as far as like a matte formula goes. And they have 6 shades, I think, if they sent me all of them. And like I said, they have like some lighter shades, and then they have some more vibrant and deeper shades. So, and dude, like this packaging is fucking cute. Look how fucking cute that is. Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to use a bunch of stuff. I know I didn't do my eyes, but that's just because I'm gonna film something else, so fuck you. I really like this lip. I feel like everything performed pretty nicely. I definitely have my like criticisms, but I'm pretty happy with everything that I used. And yeah, I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are on this stuff. Any of these things that you picked up, if you like them, if you don't like them, why? And if you're considering picking any of this stuff up now after seeing it in this video. All the things. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you want to see next. Bye.